Are you ready to dive into a conversation that goes beyond just the physical aspects of intimacy? In this video, we explore how relationships evolve with age, focusing on how emotional intimacy, particularly through acts like oral affection, becomes a profound expression of love and connection for many mature couples. This journey is especially resonant for those over 50, but the lessons are universal, showing us that love, respect and vulnerability can deepen our bonds no matter our stage of life. Whether you're looking to reconnect with your partner, redefine intimacy, or simply learn something new, this video offers insights that could transform how you approach love and affection. Stick around, and don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts on what resonates with you. Let us know your thoughts on intimacy in later years and any topics you'd like to see explored next. Let's continue this journey of self-discovery and connection together. The shift in intimacy over time. Intimacy isn't just about physical connection, especially for those who've spent decades with their partners. As time goes on, many couples find that the nature of intimacy, particularly oral intimacy, becomes something much deeper. It's no longer just about the physical pleasure, but about emotional closeness, tenderness, and a renewed sense of devotion. Older couples, in particular, begin to understand that intimacy isn't a static experience, but an evolving one, shaped by emotional connection, shared memories, and, of course, communication. In many long-term relationships, there comes a time when both partners realize that their sexual connection is no longer just about fulfilling desires. It becomes an act that communicates love, respect, and a shared commitment to nurturing the relationship. Oral intimacy, specifically, emerges as one of the most significant and heartfelt ways to communicate that care. Why oral intimacy is more than just physical. For many couples, oral intimacy transcends the physical. It becomes a profound gesture of care and love that goes beyond just pleasing one's partner. This is especially significant for older women who, having lived through years of physical and emotional changes, often find this form of intimacy as a refreshing reminder of their worth and desirability. Consider the example of Mary, a 65-year-old woman who shared her story of how her husband, now in his 70s, had begun to express renewed interest in her pleasure through oral intimacy. Mary describes this shift in their relationship as transformative. "I no longer feel that intimacy is just an obligation," she said. "Now it feels like a treasured gift we exchange with one another." This story is not uncommon, as many older women feel an immense sense of appreciation for partners who prioritize their pleasure in such a deeply intimate way. Such gestures of love are vital because they symbolize something far beyond physical pleasure. They represent a commitment to the relationship, an understanding of each other's emotional needs, and a deep respect for the bond that has been nurtured over years, if not decades. The emotional impact: trust, love, and communication. The emotional impact of oral intimacy cannot be overstated. For many women, this act becomes a powerful affirmation of their worth and beauty, even as they age. It fosters a sense of being seen and appreciated, not just as a partner, but as an individual whose desires and needs are valued. When a partner is willing to engage in such an intimate and vulnerable way, it opens the door for deeper communication and trust. Let's look at an example from a couple who has been married for over 40 years. Sarah, in her 70s, talks about how her husband's attentiveness during oral intimacy has transformed their relationship. "It's not just about the act itself," she explains, "but about the way he sees me and makes me feel cherished." This kind of emotional validation is crucial for older women, as it helps them feel connected to their partner in ways that physical intimacy alone cannot accomplish. The scientific and physical benefits of oral intimacy. You may be wondering, what's the scientific basis behind the emotional benefits of oral intimacy? Well, it turns out that research supports many of the claims about how intimate acts can foster emotional bonds. Studies published in reputable journals like the Journal of Sexual Medicine show that women who experience oral intimacy report higher levels of both sexual and emotional satisfaction. This is because it's not just about the physical pleasure, but the emotional connection that is nurtured during the act. For older women in particular, oral intimacy can offer a non-invasive way to maintain sexual connection, especially as they deal with changes related to menopause or post-menopause. As many women face challenges with traditional forms of intimacy due to physical discomfort, oral intimacy provides a gentle alternative that enhances both emotional and physical closeness. The role of vulnerability and empathy in older relationships. Oral intimacy, when practiced with sensitivity and respect, also brings out the best in both partners. For men, particularly those over 50, taking on this more vulnerable and attentive role can lead to greater self-confidence and emotional satisfaction. It's a way of showing commitment, but also a path to increased empathy and emotional intimacy. David, a 72-year-old man, shares his experience. I find a great sense of joy in giving my wife pleasure. It's not just about her physical satisfaction, but about showing her that I still care deeply for her, that I see her as beautiful and desirable. Research has shown that men who engage in their wives' intimate needs report a stronger sense of emotional connection and loyalty, which only strengthens the overall relationship. A renewed sense of vitality. The emotional and health benefits. The emotional benefits are not the only positive outcomes of oral intimacy. There are also significant physical benefits that go beyond just pleasure. Maintaining intimacy into older age has been linked to better cardiovascular health. Numerous studies indicate that sexual activity, including oral intimacy, can promote healthy circulation, reduce stress, and improve heart health. Important factors for those navigating their golden years. For many couples, oral intimacy provides an opportunity to stay physically connected without the discomfort that sometimes accompanies more traditional forms of sexual activity. This act can help foster natural lubrication in women, which can be particularly beneficial for those going through menopause or dealing with other age-related changes. Conclusion: a lasting legacy of intimacy. Ultimately, the act of prioritizing each other's pleasure in this way transforms the dynamics of the relationship. It enriches both emotional and physical intimacy, creating a sense of shared joy, vulnerability, and trust. It's a reminder that intimacy is not bound by age. It only grows richer, deeper, and more meaningful with time. For couples over 50, embracing oral intimacy can provide a way to reconnect, reignite passion, and strengthen emotional bonds. As we navigate the complexities of aging, let us not forget that intimacy, in all its forms, is an essential part of our well-being and happiness. It's a celebration of love, connection, and shared joy, one that lasts a lifetime. As we reflect on today's conversation, I encourage you to think about how intimacy has evolved in your own relationships. What changes have you noticed, and how can you bring more emotional depth into your intimate connections? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that celebrates the fullness of life and love. The hidden truth about masturbation in old age. What you need to know. Have you ever wondered how self-pleasure changes as we age? While society often avoids discussing it, the reality is that masturbation in later years can take on new meanings and roles, offering comfort, connection, and healing. As we grow older, Our bodies and desires evolve, but that doesn't mean our ability to experience pleasure fades. In fact, masturbation can become an empowering act of rediscovery, offering profound benefits both physically and emotionally. But, like anything, moderation is key. In this video, we'll dive deep into the benefits, challenges, and potential pitfalls of masturbation in old age. Stay tuned until the end for valuable insights on how to maintain a healthy balance. A journey of rediscovery. As we age, our bodies undergo numerous changes. Hormonal shifts, altered physical sensitivity, and changes in libido can all impact the way we experience pleasure. These natural transitions may affect the intensity and frequency of sexual desire, but they don't erase it. For many older adults, masturbation becomes a personal, intimate way to reconnect with their bodies. It can serve as a sanctuary, providing a much-needed release of tension, fostering self-compassion, and offering a reaffirmation of one's sexuality. One important aspect of this process is that masturbation in old age is often more about reconnecting with the self than pursuing intense physical pleasure. As testosterone and estrogen levels decline, sexual desire may not feel as urgent as in younger years, but the capacity for pleasure remains. In fact, it can become a quieter, more meaningful experience, free from the pressures and expectations that often accompany intimacy in youth. The act of self-pleasure can offer older adults the opportunity to explore and honor their changing bodies, reaffirming that pleasure remains a valid and valuable part of life. The physical benefits, more than just release. Medical studies consistently highlight the physical benefits of regular masturbation, especially for older adults. For one, it helps maintain healthy blood circulation to the genital area, preventing atrophy in tissues that might otherwise weaken due to disuse. This simple act can help keep the body's sexual organs functioning optimally, which is vital as we age. Furthermore, masturbation can play a significant role in maintaining muscle tone and flexibility, contributing to overall physical health. But beyond physical health, masturbation also releases endorphins, the body's natural feel-good hormones. These chemicals can lift your mood, ease stress, and provide emotional relief. In a world where older adults often face increased isolation or depression, the emotional benefits of masturbation are undeniable. It serves as a reminder that no matter your age, you still have the capacity to experience joy and satisfaction. It's a personal, intimate act that can lift your spirits and help you feel more connected to your body and yourself. The psychological and emotional rewards masturbation can be a tool for emotional healing. For many older adults, the physical act of self-pleasure is not just about relieving tension or seeking sexual satisfaction. It becomes a means of emotional connection, a way to fight feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and even depression. When aging brings about feelings of vulnerability, the ability to engage with one's body and experience pleasure can be incredibly empowering. For those who may feel disconnected from their physical form as they age, masturbation can offer a sense of agency, a reminder that they are still in control of their bodies, still capable of experiencing pleasure. In many ways, it can help older adults reclaim their sense of self-worth, allowing them to face the challenges of aging with renewed confidence and emotional strength. The dangers of overindulgence. When pleasure turns into dependency. However, like all things, balance is crucial. While masturbation can offer numerous physical and emotional benefits, excessive self-stimulation can have unintended consequences. In older age, this could manifest physically as heightened sensitivity or a diminished ability to experience pleasure over time. As the body becomes overstimulated, the person may find themselves needing increasingly intense stimulation to achieve satisfaction. which can lead to frustration, dissatisfaction, and even anxiety. The emotional dangers of excessive masturbation are even more profound. Many older adults turn to self-pleasure as a means of coping with loneliness or emotional distress. When masturbation becomes the primary or only source of comfort, it can foster a sense of emotional isolation. This isolation can be particularly damaging for those already facing the challenges of aging, as it may make it even harder to reach out for emotional support or social interaction. It can become a vicious cycle where the individual retreats further into their own world, leading to more feelings of loneliness and neglect. Real-life example, a story of loneliness and isolation. Consider the story of Mary, a woman in her late 70s who lives alone after the death of her husband. Over time, she found herself turning to masturbation as a way to escape the loneliness she felt in her quiet home. What began as a comforting practice quickly became a substitute for the companionship she once had. Soon, it became an almost daily ritual, and Mary found herself feeling more isolated than ever. She stopped reaching out to friends, withdrew from social activities, and relied entirely on self-pleasure for emotional comfort. Eventually, the pleasure she once derived from masturbation began to fade, and Mary realized that what had once been a healthy practice was now a source of emotional distress. Her story highlights the importance of balance and how the overuse of self-pleasure can ultimately worsen the feelings of isolation and loneliness that many older adults face. The importance of connection, finding balance. While masturbation in old age can offer significant benefits, it's important to ensure it doesn't replace meaningful connections with others. One of the key lessons from this discussion is that self-pleasure should never become a substitute for emotional or physical intimacy with a partner or loved one. For those in relationships, it's vital to communicate openly with your partner and ensure that masturbation complements rather than replaces shared intimacy. If masturbation is becoming a means of escaping deeper emotional issues, such as loneliness, depression, or anxiety, it may be time to seek alternative forms of emotional support. Therapy, counseling, or reconnecting with loved ones can provide a more lasting sense of fulfillment that goes beyond the temporary satisfaction of self-pleasure. Self-compassion and self-awareness. The keys to healthy aging. As we age, self-awareness and self-compassion become increasingly important in maintaining a balanced and fulfilling life. This is especially true when it comes to sexuality and self-pleasure. Masturbation in old age is not something to be ashamed of. It is a natural, healthy part of life that can promote physical and emotional well-being, but it's essential to approach it with mindfulness, understanding when it enhances your life and when it may be acting as a substitute for deeper emotional needs. By maintaining a balanced approach to self-pleasure, older adults can continue to experience the joys of intimacy and self-connection, without allowing it to interfere with other important aspects of life. Whether through social engagement, physical activity, or emotional support, it's vital to ensure that masturbation remains a healthy, positive practice, one that supports overall well-being rather than hindering it. Final thoughts: embracing pleasure at any age. In conclusion, masturbation in old age is a normal and beneficial practice when done in moderation. It provides both physical and emotional benefits, including improved blood flow, reduced stress, and enhanced self-esteem. However, it is important to approach it with balance. Overindulgence can lead to emotional isolation, physical discomfort, and a reliance on self-pleasure as a means of coping with deeper emotional issues. By being mindful and compassionate toward oneself, older adults can continue to enjoy the positive aspects of self-pleasure while maintaining meaningful connections with others. So, What have you learned from this discussion? Is masturbation something you've considered as you age? How can you ensure it remains a positive, healthy part of your life? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insights on living a healthy and fulfilling life at any age.